Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 511 for January 5th, 2022. And hello everybody, I am Josh KI6NAZ. Thanks for checking out Ham Nation again here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. Got a little packed show here. We'll try and get you in under an hour, but we'll dive right in. Let's see who's here tonight. Hey everybody. All right, we've got Randy up on the top left. Why don't you go ahead and say hi there first, Randy?
I'll say hi first, Randy.
Okay. What do you got for us this evening, sir?
We're going to kind of do a review of the ISS SSTV. It was a fun week. I know a lot of people, for the first time, were receiving pictures from space. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
It seemed like a really good event. A lot of people out there. I saw a lot of posts online, on Twitter, and whatnot, of people getting their downlinks. I thought that was great. It's always fun to watch, I think, as it goes over a couple of days, how people get better kind of over time. They start tweaking their system, and all of a sudden they're in there. So
I had people take and discover my video about, right at the end with about 2 passes left, and never had done that before. I watched the video and was able to get a pass or 2 pictures. So
excellent.
Worked out good. Yeah, good. Excellent.
Don, how are you doing? Looks like you're all kitted out there. What's going on?
Yeah, well, we're in full-on football mode. First off, tomorrow is 12th night, which is the Feast of the Epiphany. But more importantly, in New Orleans, it's the beginning of the Mardi Gras season, officially. So if I had a voodoo doll, I'd have that thing out. We are playing the Falcons on Sunday, which is our arch rival. We have to win, and Los Angeles has to beat San Francisco in order for the Saints to make the playoffs. So I've got the shirt, I've got my Super Bowl jacket, we're libating up, and of course I've got St. Drew from a picture taken on our Super Bowl winning night there all those years ago. So yeah, we're ready for that. And no Dr. T tonight. She's living in Los Angeles, so she's probably doing voodoo dolls for the Rams. Hopefully, because they have to beat San Francisco. You hear that, you people at Twit? We're going to beat San Francisco. And that's really about all I've got. We've got Amateur Radio Newsline and God knows what else. That's all I have from here for now.
Right
There'll be
on.
more later, trust me.
So Gordo's having a little bit of audio trouble. He'll probably join us in a little bit, so we'll catch up with this.
You need to talk some more? Because I can do that.
we may come back to you, Don, so hang tight on that one. More of the juju talk for the upcoming games.
Voodoo.
Amanda, oh, right. No, Amanda, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really good. Compared to people in northern Colorado, I'm going to be talking about that tonight in the Marshall Fire, so stay tuned for that. But in the end, we got snow, so all the fire risk is pretty much gone. 12 inches falls right after historic damage. Go figure. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go over some of what Aries did during that devastating destruction. But I'll be paying attention to the chat room. We're going to have some great info tonight. And hopefully Gordo will join us again. And if you have questions, please do the @ to my name, and I'll capture it much better. But I'll be following along the whole night. Josh, back to you. You have kind of an interesting thing to introduce too.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about virtual reality and ham radio. Some of you who are on the Ham Radio Crash Course Facebook page have already seen this a little bit, and there will be a longer video that I'll be putting out in the future. But we're going to be talking about potentially remoting into your computer that you operate your ham radios from, if you do that, for voice and digital, via virtual reality from anywhere there's the internet, basically. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Why don't we go to Randy and have him talk all about his SSTV work? So, Randy, take it away.
Okay. Well, it was a big event. It ran for 6 days, 24 hours a day, and hundreds of pictures were downloaded. Let me share my screen here and find my mouse. Here we go. And we want this one here. There we go. So just going to talk a little bit about the event here. It was 2021, 6 days.
No, I can.
And so it's put on by the Aries Eris group.
There's was up there.
Yeah.
Getting Susie in the background there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Gordo just joined us. I think he got his mic sorted out, but we're going to Randy, and then we'll probably come back to short shots. Go ahead, Randy.
All right. Test.
Yeah, we hear you, Gordo.
Okay. On
Hang
this
tight.
mic?
Yes, you can go with that, and hang tight. We'll come to you after Randy.
Roger, go ahead.
Okay, so the Eris group sponsors this and takes and manages. So and this is their homepage here. In the video I put up about 4 or 5 days before the event, it went over really well. It's got over 35,000 views. So in there I showed people how to use the the satellite tracking stuff off the web, and then use programs on your computer and such. So got a lot of people going. I saw quite a few posts where people just putting their phones with the SSTV decoding app on their phone, just point it towards the speaker. So there's a guy with 2 phones to get images off his Icom IC 705. And in the video I go through about how the SST TV works, and a lot of people were using that. I did 9 live streams during the event, so about 15-20 minutes before the ISS would come over me, I would go live on YouTube and talk about my station, the radio, the antennas, the tracking, what was going to happen, how to make sure your SSTV was set right. And so we had somewhere between 30 to 70 people in each one of those live events watching there. So it got to be a pretty routine thing here. I got used to using the software and get it streaming out through YouTube and such. So had a lot of fun doing that. There was a lot of people posting in Twitter and Facebook their images from all around the world. Here's some that I received. Amanda was talking earlier before we went on. She says, all of my images look so good. Well, they're not all good. So here's like 4 different examples of, that one up in the top left. It was noisy, but the complete picture is there. And then the second one there, it probably I lost the pass. It went out of range. Then you get other ones with these severe fading going on. But you keep at it for 24 hours a day for 6 days and collect every image, and you go back and pick out the best. So this is the set of 12. You can see this number 12 down here in the bottom right is still pretty noisy, and a couple with some noise fading there, but otherwise they all came out pretty good. I was using my IC 9700 with a USB link over to the computer for audio and control. I was using a Comet vertical. It's a tri-band. It's a 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter vertical up about at 50 feet. So it worked really good on the low passes, and being on the Oregon coast, I'm a mile from the ocean up at 1,100 feet, so I really got a nice path going out.
Randy, those look like those were snapshots that you took. That's crazy how good the quality is. I'm surprised how long it take you to get up to the satellite to actually copy, or the ISS to copy the images directly.
Well, I had to get a ride on a Falcon 9, and get up there and get them directly off their laptop. So.
So a really big ladder.
Yeah, really big. Yeah, long rope. So on the Eris page, you can upload your pictures. And I saw somewhere today it told how many images had been uploaded. It was something like, I think 3,500 from over 300 different people had uploaded their images to this web page. There's certificates. There's certificates from all sorts of clubs from all around the world. The left one is the Aries, or the Eris official certificate. It just took one image and upload, and I got that in a day or so. Then this Russian one, you had to send 3 pictures that were 90% complete. And I've seen on Facebook from Bulgaria and Poland, all these other countries with their radio clubs and such also had different certificates that they were doing. But this doesn't all come for free. There's a lot of expense to this. They have about, I think, 10 Kenwood radios. There's 2 up on the space station, and then they have extras for spares and training and testing and all that. And they built new power supplies. So I think the original fund drive for all this was about $250,000. So if you had fun and would like to support this, you can go to their website here and make a donation. So, and I did that earlier today. So had a lot of fun with the event. So that's just my quick review of what was going on there.
You had some really good pictures. I'm really impressed. Maybe we'll come back to the multi-host here, and you tell us a little bit again what your station is and what antenna you're connected to.
Okay, we have my excuse me, my 9700 here, and on my tower at about 50 feet is a Comet vertical. It's a tri-band. It's 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter. It's got a pattern that is, I can't do this in front of the camera, which is kind of narrow, which is not great when the space station or the satellite is overhead. But most of the passes are probably going to be between 15 to 60 degrees. Very few of them are straight overhead. And when they are, they go by really quick. So a lot of times they'll skim by at a maximum elevation of, say, 20 degrees. And the picture takes 2 minutes to send, and then they pause for 2 minutes. So it's a 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off continuously. So it's great when they do this type of event. The one previous here, I think in November, was only on for a few hours during the day, and it was basically on when it was over Russia. So that kind of rules us out.
I have a video going back a year or so ago where I just hooked my radio up to my Raspberry Pi, and I just let the Raspberry Pi run and just pull all the audio it can, and then you check in every day or so often and see what you got. It's kind of like fishing, fishing where you didn't do anything. You just show up later and check the images. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we learned a couple things when people tried to do that. One is that if your radio has an auto off feature, turn that off, because after an hour or hour and a half, the radio turned off. SSTV for Linux, I believe if it doesn't see anything in a half hour, an hour, it kind of shuts down too. So those are a couple of the things we learned during the event from from the various viewers out there trying these things and coming back the next morning and having empty nothing. But
indeed,
it's fun.
Amanda,
I hope they do it again soon.
Did you see any questions, Amanda?
I didn't. I just wanted to make some comments. I saw so many amazing tweets on this throughout the last week, and so many people had so much fun. And Randy, if you don't mind, maybe people didn't know that they should submit to Eris to let them know that they captured some of these, because that 3,000 number seems low to me, because I saw so many. So tell us the website again where they can go ahead and submit the ones that they captured.
Let me go and bring up the screen here again.
Thank you.
I have 3 monitors here, so I lose my mouse. Here we go. This one here.
Gordo has cats. They could find it.
There it is. ariss.org, and across the top of the page there's a donate area. So so you can take PayPal, and I don't know if you can put a credit card in direct or credit card in through PayPal. And there's probably a physical address if you want to write a check. They are a 501c organization, so keep your receipt.
Absolutely, and they love support. So and they work really hard.
Yeah.
My other. Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, I can show you really quickly, too. If you go to the website under their blog page, right? So if you're, where are we? So if you go into their blog, let's see. You bring up the images for it, and it talks about the event here, the end of year SSTV event. And then below that, there'll be a link for posting your whatever you received. Images. And then it'll load, and there you go. So these are some, man, look at these stellar copies that people have. They're just fantastic. So make sure you go do that.
Definitely. My other question was going to be if you did the recording thing, Randy, which you didn't. So you did it all live, and I think everyone was very appreciative of all your YouTube videos. So thanks so much.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe the video of how to do this is, been watched 35,000 times, and it hasn't slowed down. There's no event at the moment, but people have come across it, and we're really thankful for it. So
it's easy to
It's
set
very
up.
cool.
Yeah.
It is easy. Anyone can do this.
All right. Well, Gordo's back. He's live. He's got a hot mic, and I think it's time for short shots. You ready, Gordo?
I am, but do I have a hot mic?
It's a little low, but I can bump you up a little bit. You sound clean though. So
All right. How's that? Go ahead.
It's good. Let's give it a run.
Okay. All right. A very good evening, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me. This is what happens when the new year hits and Skype does an update and somehow dropped out my mic, but we're ready to roll. For those of you that have friends thinking of going for the technician class license, they can study with some free Zoom classes being offered by the West End Amateur Radio Group out here in California. But it's a Zoom session, so who cares where they are for you, maybe on the East Coast. For more information, go to West End Ham Test, all one word, West End Ham Test at Outlook.com. And the class is free, and it goes for 6 weeks, and they would love to have you on board. Those of you that have been subscribing to CQ Magazine going, where's my magazine? Well, it's now digital. They may be going back to print, but they say if any of you have a print subscription and you've not heard anything, to get a hold of them and they will get you the back issues via digital. And CQ Magazine is alive and well, but they're having to put up with postage rate increases and so on. But they're not going to let those of you that have subscribed to the actual magazine, they're not going to let you fall through the cracks. They're going to take care of you by extending your subscription. So don't panic. It's just a little different way of reading it on the computer. I'm assured that the Orlando Ham Radio Convention coming up February 11, 12, and 13 is very much a go. And those organizers of Orlando say they're number 2, maybe even number 1 in the Ham Fest size. And I've been there for many years, and it is a goodie. Orlando, Florida, February 11, 12, and 13. Those of you out here, Yuma Ham Fest coming up on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of February. Well, coming up for us in about 2 weeks is Quartzfest. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what's happening in Quartzsite, Arizona. First of all, Quartzfest is a fun get-together by ham radio operators. Hundreds, actually thousands of RVers come into the Quartzsite area, and those that are hams will be coming down to Quartzfest, and you see it way in the background. Quartzfest is in its 25th year. And last year was Quartz pause for COVID, but this year they say, no matter what, we're going to make it happen. And as you can see, you park anywhere you want to. This year, to comply with some of the requirements of the Arizona and the local communities, no enclosures, but there will be an open sort of enclosure, which will be the welcome tent. And that's where you first check in when you're ready to get started. And thanks to Tracy and Jody Lineker, they are handling all of the programs by getting them up on the Quartzfest website, and go to quartzfest.org. And again, Quartzfest is at the end full week of January 23 through the 29th. Thanks, Tracy, for all your hard work in putting that together. And as you can see by looking at a couple of years ago, it's a full schedule of events happening all week long. They're going to have the special event station, W7Q, the distance challenge on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And you can read more about that at quartzfest.org/2022. And they'll have the RV and rock show in town that we'll see at Quartzfest as a group on Tuesday morning, off-road on Wednesday, ham radio license testing on Wednesday and Saturday. They're going to have a hike to Peaks on the Air, POTA, and that is on Thursday, and Land Ops also on Thursday, ARRL Forum on Friday with ARRL notables that you'll see shortly, and Saturday is the swap meet. If you don't have an RV, bring your tent, and they've got an area just for tents. But wait a minute, what about Mother Nature? Well, look at that, 4 of them, and those are the potties for keeping those in tents and the small little trailers that you saw a few slides ago, happy and content. And there's Gary and good old Gordo, and they love these 4-wheel RV devices. You see the one on the left. Wind system may be there as well, and we always enjoy seeing them. And the sand is hard packed. So if you're in a wheelchair or you're in a unique device like this, you're not going to sink into the sand, and same thing with your vehicles. Gary puts up these big many 100-watt PA systems so that our outside seminars will indeed be out under the sun in Quartzfest. And for those that don't want to go out in the sun, Gary's also going to be tied into amateur television, and it's going to be high definition digital. And those of you with digital TV in your RVs, you can pick it up on cable television. He told me yesterday it's either 57 or 58, but you'll see Gary, and he'll have it on ATV. So at the comfort of your communications motorhome or trailer or whatever, go to the CATV mode and go to channel, it's either 57 or 58, and you'll be able to see all the excitement. When nighttime hits, that's when some of those other seminars that will rely on a big screen like you see here. So we'll have movies, you bet. Nomadland is going to be a very popular one. There'll be plenty of campfires as well as man-made fires that you see there at Quartzfest. So those demonstrations that we used to do during the sunlight in a tent, we're going to be doing them in the evening hours starting about 6:30. And the special event station, of course, W7Q will be on. We've got quite a nice station set up this year, so it won't be in a sort of a shelter like we had here a couple of years ago, but rather in a nice communications trailer. So you'll be hearing W7Q on the air a lot. And, of course, a lot of live equipment demonstrations. And Tracy, Jody, and Marilyn, here they're demonstrating their communications emergency comm setups for the mountains, and they needed them this past week with all the snow. The pet parade, so if you got a dog, cat, gerbil, or whatever, get it decorated for the pet parade. Cast iron cookie, Rick Paquette, one of the ARRL officials, always has that going. And as you can see, the folks in the background will really enjoy that cooking. And of course, the best part of just meeting folks, and Marilyn says on Monday, there are gold in thar hills, and she's going to show folks how to pan for gold. And you go, well, you know, and I think she sort of seeds a little bit of the gold sand with a couple of nice flakes, and I spot them right there. I don't know if you get to take them home. I doubt it. But gold panning with all the gold that is around in the quartzite sand will be taking place. And for our pets, so we're going to be doing demonstrations of our little pet radio collars as well. And, of course, there on that Saturday morning, bright and early, is the swap meet. Automatic antenna tuners will be taking place. The antenna walkabout will be taking place. And drones will be shooting all sorts of great videos. Ladies, we've not forgot about all the fun things that you've got planned, and many things are planned. So ladies will have lots of stuff to do as well as we play radios, or vice versa. And Russell has organized the Hoot Nanny again. And Roger and Kim with wired communications may be there to provide all the LED lights to keep that Hoot Nanny lit up and rolling. Of course, there's Quartzfest regular AC. And as you can see by his bedpan tambourine, he's going to make good things happen. And again, Jerry and Amy from the Bay Area are coming down, and they've got more loops and more neat things that they're going to be showing off and going on the air. And in years past, it's always been a little windy, but nothing slows these girls down. And of course, there'll be a lot of nano spots on the air, so you'll be able to get into ham radio, even with a handheld, literally all over the country. And testing, yes, both league testing as well as the W5YI testing. Off-road, if you enjoy going to off-road, they'll have that. And again, American Radio Relay League will be well represented at Quartzfest, and you'll have some great talks. And the Quartzfest mascots that you see right there are standing tall, and they're ready for you. Chris and Lynn are the Quartzfest organizers, and Chris, you just saw the picture on one ago, has done just a fabulous job, Chris and Lynn, getting it all organized. So if you got the last week of January hanging around, we'd sure like to see you at Quartzfest, Arizona. So 2022 is finally here. We wish all of you a very, very happy new year. I've now got my audio straightened out after I strangled the computer, so we're ready to roll. So, Amanda, I'll turn it over to you if you should have any special questions for me. Go ahead.
Okay, Gordo. Well, first of all, we always love to hear about Quartzfest, and I think that this year is going to be one of the biggest, since it's been kind of very first shut down, and then, or it was happening, but it was very spread out. So it's going to be really popular this year. I've heard lots of people. Do you have kind of a number of how many people are going to be there this year?
Last couple of years, other than last year, Quartz pause, but in years past, we've had anywhere from 800 to almost 1,000 hams, licensed hams, check in. They might not stay all 7 days, but they've always been there for at least a day or two or three. Typically, we have 400 to 600 on scene the whole time.
And there's always enough room, right? So if more people want to bring campers, there's always enough room. I hear Randy laughing.
There is plenty of room. Randy will tell you. Randy, are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm getting ready. It's a mad rush now to get packed up. I leave on the 18th. It takes me about 3.5 days. I'm taking a whole bunch of stuff to sell this time. I got my TS2000, my 817, my 857, my AL82, and I'm going to have a big table full of stuff for the swap on Saturday morning. So I got to get a new radio installed in my trailer, I hope, if it stops raining. And I've been dragging stuff up out of the basement and making new cables this afternoon for another solar panel. So I got stuff all over the floor in here. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great. Well, you'll have plenty of folks to give you a hand and look at all your neat gear. And Randy, thanks for all the great coverage you gave of the International Space Station, of which Rosalie White said to say to everybody, please check into ARISS at the ARRL site or its own site and help support all those great slow scan TV pictures that Randy just showed you. Amanda, back to you.
And just to continue on with that, not only that, but they do great work in getting our students in schools to talk to the International Space Station. So that's a really, really big deal. And when you hear those schools make contact and you hear these children are so intelligent, they think of questions I would never think of to ask our astronauts out there. And they're brilliant, just seriously very brilliant things about recycling in space, things I would have never thought of. So ARISS really makes all that happen, and they try to involve as many as possible. So, well, thank you, Gordo. We appreciate that, and hopefully everyone has a good time at Quartzfest. Jeff still has it on his bucket list. I'm not sold because it looks a little cold during the day. Everyone's wearing jackets, like a lot outside.
Not always.
Okay.
It warms up.
But Josh, you ever going to make it there?
I want to. We're pretty close. How's that work? Because no, I guess it's separated enough from Orlando. I may be able to run out there. It's not that far from me as far as anyone. Gordo is probably Gordo and I are probably as close as you can get, I think in some cases, to a ham radio event, right?
Right. Well, very good. So we hope to see everybody out there at Quartzfest. And if we don't, I'm sure Randy and we'll have some great short shots for you in the early part of February. So happy holidays, all of you. Amanda, back to you.
All right. I think this is where we send it to Icom.
All right.
Didn't get everything you wanted on your holiday wish list? Now is the time to spice up your ham shack with Icom's new, now shipping, ID52A handheld. This radio is perfect for staying in or venturing out and working your favorite bands this holiday season. Icom's newest handheld amateur radio is a VHF-UHF dual bander with D-Star and FM dual mode functions. The ID52A is now shipping. This radio supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex, repeater, regional, and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. The ID52A is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display and the ability to send photos over D-Star with a connected Android device. Other features include wideband receiver with guaranteed range of 144 to 148 and 440 to 450 MHz, simultaneous receive for VHF-VHF, UHF-UHF, VHF-UHF with dual DV mode. Integrated GPS GLONASS receiver including grid square location, micro SD card slot, micro USB for data transfer, programming, and charge, and it meets IPX7 waterproof specifications. For more information on this and all the great Icom radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur. Happy New Year from Icom.
All right, we do appreciate Icom for supporting Ham Nation out here. In fact, I did a live stream not too long ago with Ray Novak, came out on the Ham Radio Crash Course, and we went through the ID52, a lot of the different things that it has and the capabilities, what you're capable of doing with it. And we connected it to the iPhone and the tablet and an Android tablet and actually sent the images to the 705, so you could then, send those over HF or VHF, UHF with the 52. Quite fun, really nice radio. It's now officially my wife's favorite radio. She calls that her radio now, so I don't even really get to play with it that much anymore other than to charge it. So she hands it to me when it's empty and it's my turn. But Icom giveaway. So every time we do a Ham Nation episode, the link is in the description. You go to that page for Icom America, click Enter Now, provide your email and I think your call sign, and you get in on their giveaway, which they give out 3 swag packs to the different winners, and those winners at the end of the month, so 6 people or so, goes into a giveaway drawing for an Icom radio. Last month we gave away an ID52, which was super awesome, but this time the winners for the swag pack are Jose C, AJ0SE, Gary M, N8DMT, and Scott P, K9SPP. So if you want to get in on that giveaway, make sure you follow the link in the description and you can join it there. All right, throwing it over to Dawn, going to tell us a little more about football, I assume, and also what's going on with Amateur Radio Newsline. Dawn?
Well, I was saying, my wife and I have much the same relationship that you and Leah have, whereas she hands you the radio to charge. It's kind of that way with us, except my wife is not a ham, so I tend to hand her my wallet, but it never comes back fully full. I don't understand why.
You got to recharge the wallet with more
There's
green
plenty
stuff.
of room in there, but, people will, it's so funny because we'll go out to dinner and the waiter, waitress will invariably hand me the bill. And I'll say, oh, you must be single. Clearly, this goes to her. And I'll pull my wallet out and I'll open it up and I say, see, I'm a married man. I got no money. But anyway, that's not why you called. Let's go ahead and get into the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2305, this is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. We begin this week with scenes of devastation in the Philippines.
A super typhoon, locally known as Odette, made landfall on December 16th, taking an unusual path that led it to Siargao Island, a major tourist destination. A wide swath of the archipelago fell victim to heavy rain and gusts of more than 200 kilometers per hour. According to a draft report from the Philippine Amateur Radio Association, more than 300 lives were lost with, quote, devastation beyond description, end quote. The report said that in the days before landfall, National Traffic System Chairman Romy, DU1SMQ, ensured that daily roll calls were taken of all amateur districts to measure stations' readiness. The Office of Civil Defense Region 7 and other agencies monitored the HERO emergency network frequency on 40 meters as well. Members of PARA-affiliated clubs handled emergency traffic along with health and welfare messages even as their own home QTHs were battered by the typhoon.
Newsline anchor Jim Dameron, N8TMW reporting. While most people look to the skies on Christmas Eve, NASA had its sights looking upward on Christmas morning.
The most powerful space telescope to date, the James Webb Telescope, made its way into space the morning of December 25th with a liftoff from French Guiana en route to entering Earth's orbit. Its mission is to study universe's earliest galaxies while exploring our solar system. It was a project of the Canadian Space Agency and the European Space Agency. Its orbit destination is expected to be about 1 million miles from Earth, where it will deliver its first images starting in about 6 months. Gregory L. Robinson, Webb's program director, described the anticipated delivery as, quote, awe-inspiring images that will capture our imagination, end quote. According to a New York Times article, it was expected to offer, quote, a new keyhole into the earliest moments of our universe, end quote. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
One day later, China celebrated its own high-profile launch.
China's latest satellite is on a mission to collect high-resolution images of our planet's resources. Launched Sunday, December 26 from the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center, it's designed as a tool for land and disaster management and is equipped with 2 high-resolution cameras as payloads. Piggybacked on the satellite was an amateur radio CubeSat, China's CamSat XW3, with a UHF CW beacon and GMSK telemetry data transmission. The CubeSat is also carrying an experimental thermoelectric generator for use by high school students. It has an uplink frequency of 145.87 and a downlink of 435.18 MHz. The CW beacon is on 435.575 MHz. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Dave Parks, WB8ODF, Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
I can't get over the fact that James Webb telescope looks like something right out of a Star Wars movie. I think that is just the slickest designed thing I've seen in a long time. Now, we don't have anything from Dr. T tonight. She's got a plate full of stuff going on in her personal life, so we wish her the best with that. And, of course, you can always follow her on Twitter at online at spaceweatherwoman.com and also on Twitter and YouTube at Tamitha Scove. So that's all I have, Josh. Back to you, my friend. Well, let's go to Amanda then. She's better looking anyway.
That might be a true story. Oh, boy. Go Saints.
Yeah. Who dat?
Okay. Who dat?
Thank you.
All right. We're going to get sad and somber here. So I'm going to talk about the Marshall Fire that took place last week here in Colorado, and it was really, really devastating. I wanted to really give some kudos to our Aries team. So first, I'm just going to spew out some statistics here and let you all follow along. So first of all, 105-mile-an-hour winds started up in Boulder County around 9 a.m. on December 30th. And from there, something sparked 2 different fires. Everyone knows of the Marshall Fire, but there was also the Middle Fork Fire. They kind of split into a V. So one went towards one town and one went up towards the other. One was Superior and the other one was Louisville, Colorado. And boy, when we first started listening to this, we knew it was bad. In the end all, 991 homes were lost and 127 damaged, and numerous businesses were also destroyed completely. Loss of life so far is unknown, even though I was reading reports on Twitter before the show that they might have found the 2 missing people, unfortunately deceased. So I'm going to just show you some of this. This was not in the mountains, you guys. This is not outside of Aspen, Colorado. This was in the plains and in the middle of a city. So we're going to show you some crazy pictures here about what happened. This is the Tesla building. You know where car dealerships are, right? Just imagine looking at your car dealership. This car dealership was burning. Just ridiculous. And the first couple pictures are some different businesses that caught fire. The next one, Josh, go ahead. Sorry. Hi. Okay, they're not in order. That's all right. I can deal with this too. Traffic was stuck. Obviously, there was one escape route on Highway 36 mostly. So some people had to abandon their vehicles and jump in with others. So kind of reminds you of the car fire or Paradise Fire, as some people know it, where cars are just left there. But you see everything after that is unburnt. It's just crazy. Next. Again, the Tesla building, what happened to it. Just unbelievable damage. And this is showing some of the wind speeds nearby that caused this. And they don't have a cause of the fire yet. They are narrowing it down, but it's speculation at this point. This is just some of the homes that night just burning to the ground, unfortunately. Just real devastation. And most people... And this is crazy. So it snowed 12 inches the day after, and all of these homes are gone, of course. If that snow would have came just a little bit sooner, nothing would have been a problem. So,
Amanda, to put the winds in perspective, yep. 96 to 110, I believe, is Category 2 hurricane.
My God.
Those are high 1 and those are high 1 and mid 2 category hurricane winds right there.
Wow.
Yeah. Scary.
This is a 4-story hotel.
Was.
Whoa.
Was. Yeah. All that's left are the elevator shafts. Excuse me. And you can see that's a huge highway right behind it. How did this fire get there? Just all of these winds just blew this fire just over and over.
Blows the embers around, and they land on something flammable, and up it goes. Yeah.
And you see a shopette right next to it, just intact, just fine.
Yeah.
So, and listen,
that's almost like tornado damage, where it skips and blows one house up, and then right next door, there's not a shingle missing. That's just
exactly
crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
It was really sad listening to the traffic because I listened to the scanner feed, and you hear. They just had dispatchers. They're trained and they have to do this, right? They have to announce when a smoke alarm is going on or a fire alarm or a water flow alarm. So they just kept having to put these out there. And Incident Command finally jumped on and was like, you have to stop doing this. We get it. Because there was just so many addresses that they were interrupting all the other traffic for evacuation. So it was emotional to listen to be honest. Go ahead and go to the next one there. Let's see what we got. This is a Home Depot. Y'all been to your Home Depots. You know that there's not fire hazards next to them. Their garden center caught on fire and that all burnt down. Again, a whole block on fire. It was just all devastating. I mean, the firefighters couldn't do anything to save any of these homes. They were gone before they even caught on fire, unfortunately, with those kind of winds. And they didn't die down all night long. We can go to the next one there. More neighborhoods just burning up.
That one's surreal because you can see a fire in the background, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one that was...
The
other one that was really crazy, which I didn't expect there to still be power, and I see like home lights on, was one house had Christmas lights on. I didn't capture that one, but their Christmas lights were still on, and it's burning.
Oh, you can see that in the background a little bit. There's some lights or something.
It was pretty wow. It was just painful actually to see some of these photos, and and this one is just really surreal as well. It's just this is dystopia. Yeah. And this is the whole neighborhood burnt down, kind of aftermath.
Wow. It looks like snowfall, but it's not. It's ash.
Yeah, when I saw
Yes.
these pictures, I almost thought, a couple of them, it looks very similar to like almost a tornado, or as Don said, like hurricane damage. It's wild.
It
That's
is
very
wild.
much like a tornado that just like a mile wide tornado that just cuts a swath, and
you
it
can
looks
see
like
the
snow,
houses
but
to
it's
the
not.
right.
It's ash.
Yeah. Wow.
Full houses intact, and then a whole
Nothing.
neighborhood that's
Yeah.
and these are huge roads. I mean, again, these are supposed to be fire blocks. You see the 2 lanes both sides. That's a fire block. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the best line you could have, but that did nothing in
Wow.
this situation, of course. Let's see what else we got there. And then this is like a whole new condo, townhome, apartment complex that burnt up. It was just really eerie to see that. A lot of people and burnt to the ground. That's why I captured this photo, is that there is just absolutely nothing left, and melted steel beams holding the house up are gone. So, very painful.
And there we go.
So I did want to give out kudos to Boulder County Aries who deployed. They stepped up and did a fantastic job, even though they were cut off because the highway was closed with the evacuations. Half live up north, half live down south of what this area was. So they had to work around that. And I'd have to say that they did a fantastic job. They were deployed within a few hours of when this started. And all in all, they manned 3 shelters, had 12 operators. They manned them 24/7. They never left. And they also had to sit at the Boulder County EOC. I shouldn't say have to, but they were asked to. And outer lying, very, very rural, very upper mountain areas and towns were cut off from all power, and they also lost all of their 911 capabilities. So all they had was their amateur radio repeaters if they were on backup power, otherwise simplex. And so they were there to sit there and listen for any kind of emergency on that. So I imagine that they were at the fire stations in those towns, and they were just listening for any EMS calls, whether it be a heart attack, low blood pressure, anything like that. So they really put in the man hours and did a fantastic job. So good job for them, and they were prepared. And they always prepare for this, and they train really hard. And they just, again, stunning job. So it's really sad. But this isn't the first time, this has happened in Sonoma County and things like that. And it's not going away. So whatever it is, it's devastating.
No matter where you live, there's always something. Down here, it's hurricanes primarily. Up in Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, the Midwest, you've got tornadoes. Out by you've got, snowfall and fires. And out towards the west, you've got fires and earthquakes. And so there's always something somewhere. Seeing those fire pictures reminded me of something that my friend Mike Askins, who I grew up with, we've known each other since kindergarten or first grade, KE5CXP, one of the Newsline crew. Mike and I started broadcasting at the same time. He was covering a fire back in the late 80s, early 90s at a Chevrolet dealership. And there were 4 new Corvettes on the showroom floor. And that was the C4 Corvette where the headlights flipped around and came on. The building is fully involved in fire, and Mike is covering it for the radio station. And he said one by one, as the cars burned and the electrical system got involved with the fire, those headlights flipped up, turned on, and dimmed, and then the whole car is just burned up. It was the most surreal thing he's ever seen in his life. And fires are just so freaky, and I pray to God that I'm never in one, and my heart goes out to all of those who are affected by that. So we pray for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I got so many emails from Ham Nation viewers. Yeah, we were about 100 miles away is how far that was, but doesn't matter. It doesn't affect us any less. So.
Exactly.
You can donate. Yeah. Look, this is the other really sad thing. Sorry to keep on about this, is that and I regret ever going to this page, but I clicked on the Boulder County lost and found pets, and don't ever do that. There was a lot of lost pets, and that people didn't even have 2 minutes to get out of some of their houses. excuse me, getting choked up. They didn't have even 2 minutes to get out of their house before it was catching on fire as they're leaving their driveway. So a lot of pets were left behind. People were still at work, couldn't even get home to get any of their stuff, more or less their pets. So seeing all of the missing was really sad, and all of the burnt animals that they recovered. That was kind of like the hopeful part. Like, yeah, they're burnt, they're going to live. So they got some scars, but their owner's going to get reunited with them. So, whew, that's sad stuff. So, all right. But we're going to uplift it here. And Josh is going to show us something pretty cool that he
Neat toy. What a cool toy.
That's a tough one to follow. Thank you, Amanda,
exactly.
though, for sharing that. I think it's important, and I appreciate the update kind of on, what the communications were like and the hams involved and all the people working the EOCs. So over Christmas, some of you may have known someone who picked up a VR headset like this. This is an Oculus Quest 2. They go for about $300 to $400. And I was poking around with this. This is really a gaming machine. I'll just say that up front. It's for playing little VR games and stuff like that. But I was poking around the libraries on the system, and there are a couple for remote desktop capability. And let me just show you what this looks like. So I'm wearing this thing on my head as I shot this video, and I'll explain a little bit what's going on. But I'll just play the video. So I don't know if this is the future you guys want or not, but we are looking at a virtual desktop over VR. My app station. Still a horrible antenna, but man, look at that. Wow. And we got the ham memes, just in case we're getting a little bored out there. Awesome. CQ for Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu. CQ, Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu.
I think you're in there real quiet.
That's hilarious. You give yours a shot.
That's wild.
Probably nothing.
There. I think you're in the noise. That is wild, man. It works. So to give a little background on what that is doing, it's connecting to this computer that I'm talking on right now, that I'm doing the live stream on. And while I was connected to my Icom via my RSBA1 software, I was also on Discord, on a voice chat, and recording that video in the headset. Now, the reason why it's kind of narrow with the black bars on the side is because it's showing you one of the two images that it's putting in front of your face. That overlay that you kind of saw, that office space that I was in, is called vSpatial, which is one of the three types of software or services that's available for this capability. So what it's doing, again, is it's connecting to my remote server, again, this computer that connects to my ham radio, and I'm able to run via Windows commands that I'm literally running via the VR headset to start and close applications. And I'm using digital modes, so all your digital modes, any way you'd normally run them, WinLink, FT8, JSA call, etc., any like that, it connects. But it also will do voice. The audio that you're hearing is the audio that's actually getting piped into my ears while I'm wearing the headset, and the software is taking the microphone from the headset and putting it into the radio. So full single sideband capability, or just whatever audio voice mode you want to use, through your radio so long as it's connected to the server. Now, the best part about this is what you're seeing here. That's the whole unit. It is a headset, goggles, and 2 controllers. That's all you need. You don't need a wire to connect to a laptop that you take with you. So this could actually be a way of creating a remote capability to connect to your home ham shack. So if you're on travel or whatever, you could just use the headset to connect to your home radio system, which I found really compelling because, again, this is a $300 unit to be able to do this capability. Now, I will throw this a couple of websites up here. So this is the Oculus Quest 2. It's about $299 for the 128 gig model and $400 for the 256 gig model, which you need the more gigs if you want to download more applications. For me, though, I'm running what's called vSpatial, which is this overlay system, and it does a couple of things. It can give you a straight up remote desktop, or as you're kind of seeing in the video here, single squares, overlays, floating windows that is one application. So one application that is, it could be your logger, it could be WSJTX, it could be RSB1A, or whatever remote software you're using. There are a couple other options as well. There is Virtual Desktop, which is a part of the Oculus system. That is $19.99 for the app. And then there's something else called Big Screen. Big Screen, I have yet to test this one out, but this has similar capabilities, much like this. So you could literally remote desktop a screen and I guess sit in a swanky apartment if you wanted to set that up as well. So the capabilities, I would say, is kind of in the early phases a bit, but I'm leveraging what my computer can already do, which I think is the interesting point of all of this. Yeah, I find it interesting for those, it was a Facebook post that I made on the Ham Radio Crash Course Facebook group where somebody said, hey, I really like this idea, and my wife does too, because currently my ham shack is the dining room table, and she doesn't want me to put up, two big monitors, high-definition monitors. I could just put this on and get into the radio that way. And again, this hypothetical futurist type stuff. In the future, when we have, just a small box that's our computer with no monitors connected, and we've got radios that go in a rack or, an Icom radio that sits somewhere that's connected to that box, it may be completely headless, which means there's no monitors to begin with, and you might just use something like this. Now, yes, who was it? Alex above me said, like Jerry's system, like Tilt 5. Yep. So that's kind of what kicked off this whole thing in my mind. I interviewed Jerry over a year ago now, and we just talked about the Tilt 5 and what that capability is. So that feels like the kind of next step in some of this stuff, because that's augmented reality. What you're looking at here is a fully enclosed virtual reality system, which is, it's just all the world that's displayed to you. Augmented reality is where you can kind of see through the glass at the real world, and it paints controls onto the screen, if you will, what your eyes are looking at. With the Tilt 5, then yes, you could have a virtual construct of your radio right in front of you and then manually control it that way. So this is just kind of a teaser. This is literally something that I just was playing around with this week. I got this going. Literally, I had this up and running in like 30 minutes once I had vSpatial set up. The only downside with vSpatial, and I'm really only running it right now just to make the video and get the information out, is it is a service that's predominantly used for virtual office work. So when you use these vSpatial nodes, you can connect multiples of them together and share work between different parties. That comes with a cost. It starts out at about $4.99 a month, and it goes up to $9.99. It actually goes higher than that, but $9.99 a month if you want the remote capability, where you can be somewhere else with decent internet and remote into your ham shack. So there you go. Bit of a teaser. We'll be talking about it more on my channel in the future, but I found that pretty interesting from a ham radio futurist kind of thing. I love stuff like that. So what do you guys think?
Brave New World.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Brett said the funniest thing is their visual QRM. You know what? If your friends wanted to come in
and just push you
and
over,
just do like
that'd be funny.
And they're like making noise so you can't make the contact and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's messed up. Really messed up, but it could happen.
I gotta mention one thing, and then I'll come back to everybody with their thoughts. The one thing this does that really makes it nice wireless is it will connect via Bluetooth to a keyboard, and it will actually print your keyboard in the virtual display, and you can type. So for everybody that wants to interface with your logger, you don't have to just doingy around with these controllers and trigger fire the characters. You can literally type on a real keyboard in front of you that you can take anywhere, and it will go back to your home computer when remoted. That was the key thing. It was kind of an aha moment for me. But anyway, okay, what's everybody else think?
Doingy, first of all, I did not know that was a word, but Randy, you have some thoughts.
That looks pretty neat. So to do that, is it $4.95 a month, or will it do it without the subscription business?
So if you want to use vSpatial, which is the view that I showed on that video of my shack, then yes, it's $4.99. But then there are the other two apps that I'm experimenting with, Virtual Desktop and Big Screen, which I will include in my video that I put out. Those are one-time charges, like $20, $15.
Okay.
Gordo, what about you?
Yeah, I'll take 2 or 3.
The one
pretty interesting.
Yeah, the one big one I got was on the Facebook page. A couple people said, "Hey, my kids just got one of those for Christmas." Apparently, they sold just a boatload of these things, and they said, "I'm gonna have to go steal it from them so that I can play ham radio," which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah,
that's funny.
That is funny, and I like the interaction. We've asked Jerry and Amy again as well. How can you implement ham radio into your game system? And they're like, we're figuring that out. You just stand by.
Yeah.
So
I need to send.
It's going to happen.
I need to send them a message to make sure they bring some of their goggles to Quartzfest so we can play.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, you can play from camper to camper and have some fun. Although I think they're a little hands-on. They like to they have their shenanigans. Anyone that's gone to Quartzfest.
No, they don't have shenanigans. No.
No, not at all.
And they're mini bikes.
Mini bikes.
Ask Ray Novak.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see a world where, Tilt 5 works on a mat that you kind of lay on a table. Yeah. That's the reactive space. I'm waiting for, when you throw the mat on the table and then like an eruption and a 7610 pops out of it, and you're playing around with that live, or you've got your rotor control for your antenna off to the side, and you just go in there and
just crank it around.
You could see the antenna in virtual space, and you just take your hand and spin it to where you want it, and then it moves. There's all kinds of interesting applications for this. I don't know if any of this is gonna like root and take hold, if you will, but it's already capable now. So pretty much anything you could do with a laptop remoting into your home station, you can technically do with this. So it's really just a question of if you find it interesting or not.
So do you see any 3D depth with those screens? Do they move forward and backwards to, when they become active or anything?
That's all configurable by you. You can make them bigger, you can move them closer, you can push them away. There's actually a cool mode where it goes into like a theater view, and you can have the monitors all around you, and you can kind of just be in the middle of it, and which is kind of what you do for a lot of digital modes. You kind of keep the one thing in front of you, and then you have like grid tracker over here, and then I got my log over here, and the waterfall for WSJTX right here on this side. I likely will be doing a live stream running this in the future. The capability of how to do that when I'm sitting in front of it and lifting the headset off and on to make it work is a little bit beyond me at this point. I haven't figured that all out, but we'll be talking about it in the future.
So how long does the battery last?
So the battery lasts 2 to 3 hours on a full charge, but it has a USB-C connector, and you just plug a USB bank or whatever you want in it, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Jeremy says Oculus will not work at all in direct sunlight. Kind of, if you're shaded. It uses IR front-facing cameras to kind of line yourself up with the tracking. So that is true, but maybe you don't operate. You're not going to POTA necessarily with your Oculus on connected to your home shack.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. This is a specialty kind of thing.
Make sure you're in a tent for field day when you're using it.
Yeah.
Right.
I have one more comment, and haters are going to hate, so they're just going to lose their minds. But I can't help but say this: everybody that hated FT8. Welcome to the next generation of ham radio.
It's not ham radio.
Can you imagine that where I may bring it to Orlando?
I'm going to get hate mail. I'm going to get hate mail over that. You guys, I'm seriously just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even do FT8. So
You're
please don't
joking,
send me
but
hate
when
mail.
I put that video out before Orlando, I may just walk around Orlando wearing this thing, and I'll just be playing ham radio from Orlando and see what people tell me.
That'd be great. I'd love that. That's so cool.
Just don't trip and fall over on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
Right. That's right. All right. Well, everybody, I think that's probably going to do it for this. Anybody want to mention anything they got coming up this week? I know we mentioned a lot of things, so yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I left this out. The Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Ham Fest is coming up January 15th. And then the Colorado is just starting to open up for Ham Fest. And then the second weekend in February is also another Ham Fest by the Aurora Repeater Association, also co-hosted by Rocky Mountain Hams. So Colorado is hopping in the wintertime, which is crazy because it's like the coldest 2 months of the year, but people love to go out and find some bargains, and people are willing to make deals. So
nice.
I say do it and have some fun with it.
All right. And Long Islanders, you're going to get snow tomorrow, but Ham Radio University is coming into town, and that's this coming Saturday, 8 o'clock till 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just look at Ham Radio University, and that's where you'll get all the information. It's inexpensive to sign up. It's all on Zoom, and they have over 19 powerful presentations. So Ham Radio U this weekend, Saturday on Long Island, actually in your own home on Zoom.
Nice. I've got to check the Hamfest calendar. I haven't been to a Hamfest since January of 2020.
Wow.
And I'm jonesing bad. And now I'm working every other Saturday, so I'm going to have to check the calendar and see if there's going to be one nearby me that I can go to. Anyway, we're getting cranked up, of course, for the Saints-Falcons games. We're going to see if we can't, roast the Dirty Birds, and then, of course, root for the Rams to beat the 49ers, and then we get into the playoffs, and from there anything can happen. So who dat? Go Saints. That's what's going on here.
There you go. Oh, and Ham Radio University is free. I blew it. It's absolutely free of charge.
All right.
Free.
Well, we do have some nets to announce as well. Steve is on 3827 on 75 meters, and Kev, I haven't seen you in the chat. He's probably on 7192 thereabouts. So listen up. 14 Charlie for D-Star and DMR on 31012, and they're waiting for us to join in and have some QSOs there. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you again January 19th, where we're gonna visit Hamcation, and who knows who else is gonna join us.
One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, there's more.
Emphasis on one. This is the 1-year anniversary of Ham Nation being on Ham Radio Crash Course.
Oh, all right.
And thank you to this guy
Thank
here,
you, Josh,
for taking it over and letting it go. I just saw somebody posting the Lee NN7X said, "Thanks for keeping the show going, you all." Well, listen, Lee, we thank you and everybody else for watching, and yeah, that's why we're doing it, and that's so yeah.
Thank you,
Josh. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you, man.
Well, thank you all for continuing it. Like it wouldn't. I talk all the time every week, but I need you all to be Ham. You're Ham Nation, right? That's.
And Josh had some really nice words to say about all of us on Amateur Logic's New Year's Eve special. So everyone should check that out as well.
Nice.
Those guys, we had a lot of fun. We followed way after Josh, but it was a good time. And Josh had some nice words to say about holding up the legacy of Ham Nation. So he's in it.
Oh,
all right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. And you're going to be on Discord tonight, Josh, or no?
Not tonight. I got to go chase down the wife and figure out what's going on. So I haven't ate. So
okay.
I try to eat before I get out here. But
she needs you to charge her handheld.
That's right.
I heard something about a school teacher party. So.
Oh, yeah. Apparently all the second grade teachers are all out of school, and I think they all got it.
Them ladies are wild, and second grade teachers.
Yeah, I don't know what they're up to, but it's
yeah,
crazy
no one does.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Really do appreciate it for watching Ham Nation. Make sure you follow all the links in the description. Make sure you get in on the swag giveaway. I mean, every time we do this, there's tons of pictures that people post on Discord if you want to see it. The link for the Discord is also in the description, so make sure you avail yourselves of that. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody, and a hearty 73. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thanks.